The black of space was calm, endless, and quiet. For days, the alien peace envoy's fleet had been moving toward Earth. Their mission was simple: bring words of peace, open trade, and start a new age between their people and the humans. They expected a welcome. They expected smiles, greetings, maybe even music. What they found was nothing. No human ships came to greet them. No station lights blinked in invitation. Earth's orbit looked dark, as if the planet did not care that visitors had arrived from far beyond the stars. The alien crews began to whisper among themselves. Maybe the humans were not ready. Maybe they were suspicious. But there was no fear among the aliens, at least, not yet. Then, one of the sensor operators on the lead ship froze. "Captain, there is something," he said, his voice tight. The captain turned toward the glowing monitor. At first he saw only the black shadow of the moon, its surface sharp under the sunlight. But deep in the moon's shadow, hidden from any casual view, something was there. Shape. Large. Immense. It was not moving. It was a ship, and it was unlike anything that aliens had seen before. Its frame was long and jagged, armor plates stacked like the scales of some ancient predator. Spires of metal jutted from its sides, each one ending in a cannon so large that a single shot could probably split a mountain. The alien captain swallowed. "Is it broadcasting a signal?" "No, Captain. Silent. Silent. No greeting, no threat. No sound at all." The alien fleet slowed, unsure if they should move closer or hold position. Inside the giant vessel, humans moved through dimly lit corridors. Every crew member was at their station, calm but alert. They knew the alien fleet was coming. They'd been tracking them for 3 days. The battleship's commander stood in the control chamber, eyes fixed on the display. "They're holding position," his second-in-command reported. "Good," the commander replied. "Let them wonder." Back outside, the alien flagship made another attempt. Their communication beam reached toward the human ship. "Greetings, people of Earth. We come in peace. We request a meeting to discuss the transmission cutoff." The human ship did not answer. Instead, the alien sensors caught something strange, a deep sound, so low it was almost below hearing range. It wasn't speech. It was more like a single, long tone. Steady, unchanging, vibrating through space itself. The sound felt ancient, heavy, like it carried meaning without words. Some of the alien crew felt their stomachs twist. A welcome. It wasn't a request. It was a warning. The captain tried again, his voice firmer. "This is the diplomatic envoy of the Kalari Alliance. We come with peaceful intentions. Wish to speak with again, nothing." The alien crew shifted uncomfortably in their seats. The moon's shadow hid most of the battleship, but the parts they could see looked more alive than any machine should. It seemed to watch them, waiting for something. The captain's advisor leaned closer. "Perhaps it is their way of testing us. Humans are known for being unpredictable." "Yes," the captain agreed slowly, "but this is different." The battleship, the commander studied the alien fleet's formation. They had more than a dozen ships, sleek, silver, elegant in design. Their weapons were minimal, their shields strong but not made for heavy combat. They truly might be diplomats. But the humans had learned a long time ago. Even the most peaceful ships could hide knives. "Open the channel," the commander ordered. For a moment, only static came through to the aliens. Then, a human voice spoke. It was cold, steady, and without emotion. "State your purpose, or turn away." The alien bridge went silent. Every crew member stared at the captain. The words were simple, but the tone carried weight. There was no warmth in them. It was not a request. It was an order. The captain straightened his back and replied, "We are here to open peace between our peoples. We come without threat." The human voice cut in again. "You will hold position. You will answer questions. Failure to comply will be treated as hostile intent." The alien crew shifted uncomfortably. Diplomacy had turned into interrogation. Still, the captain nodded. Understood. Ask your questions. But the human voice did not respond immediately. Instead, the battleship began to move just slightly, enough for the aliens to see more of its enormous structure slide out from the moon's shadow. It was larger than their flagship by 3 times, its hull covered in weapon ports and strange shield emitters. Every design choice spoke of war, not peace. In the alien fleet's war records, there were only a few images of human warships. None of them looked like this. This ship was built for one purpose: to survive anything, and 2, destroy whatever stood against it. The alien captain began to wonder if coming here was a mistake. Finally, the human voice returned. Identify all vessels in your fleet. Provide your registry, cargo, and the names of every captain. The captain hesitated. This was not standard procedure for peace talks, but refusing could be dangerous. He gave the order to transmit the data. On the battleship, human officers studied the information. No obvious threats. No weapons that could match human technology. Still, the commander's eyes narrowed. Something is missing, he said quietly. His second-in-command frowned. Missing? Ships travel with history, the commander replied. These have gaps. Back on the alien bridge, the captain waited for the human response. His crew whispered in low voices, wondering if they had passed the test. But then, a sudden change appeared on the sensor screens. The battleship's energy levels spiked. Its main cannon, a weapon longer than the alien flagship, was charging. The alien crew froze. The power reading climbed higher and higher. One shot at that strength could destroy them all. The alien captain stood from his chair. Send the peace signal. Now, a bright holographic banner unfolded from the side of the alien flagship, the universal flag of peace. A shimmering symbol that every spacefaring civilization knew. It meant no threat, no weapons, no aggression. The battleship kept charging its cannon. The alien captain's heart pounded. Do they not understand? They understand, his advisor said quietly. The question is, do they care? And then, with a sudden flash of light, the cannon fired. It did not fire at them. Instead, the beam tore through the darkness and hit a drifting asteroid nearby. The rock shattered into burning fragments, scattering across space. The display was deliberate, controlled, precise. A warning shot. The alien crew stared at the debris floating past their ship. None of them spoke. And in the silence, the human voice returned one last time, low and steady. This is your first and only warning. The asteroid fragments were still glowing as they drifted past the alien fleet. Some pieces burned like tiny suns before fading into the black. The humans had not struck them directly, but the meaning was clear. They could have. They chose not to. On the alien flagship, the crew remained silent. Every officer's eyes were fixed on the giant battleship, now fully visible in the moon's shadow. Its surface caught the sunlight in sharp lines, armor gleaming like the hide of a predator. Even when still, it looked ready to strike. The captain's hand rested on the edge of his command chair. Raise the flag of peace again, he said. The shimmering holographic banner, already deployed, pulsed brighter. Its gentle blue light floated between the two fleets, a universal signal across the galaxy. No aggression, no weapons, no war. It had ended conflicts for centuries. Civilizations that spoke different languages still understood it, but the humans gave no reply. No signal, no change in stance. The battleship simply drifted in place, its cannon cooling, its weapons still aimed their way. The captain's advisor leaned close. Perhaps they are waiting for us to make the next move. In some cultures, silence is a way of forcing you to speak more. Or, the captain replied, his voice low, it is their way of reminding us who has the power here. On the human battleship, the commander stood with arms folded. The alien peace flag shimmered on his tactical screen, but his eyes didn't soften. He had seen it before, and he knew how icily peace banners could hide warships. Commander. His second-in-command asked, "Why no response?" "The flag is a recognized peace gesture." "Because peace gestures mean nothing without truth," the commander answered. "We've met envoys who smiled as their fleets prepared to strike, met diplomats who spoke of unity while carrying weapons in their holds. We don't judge intentions by symbols. We judge by actions." The battleship's bridge was quiet except for the hum of machinery. Human officers scanned every alien ship, mapping their weapons, shields, and energy readings. Was lightly armed, but there were unusual cargo readings, dense, shielded containers on 2 vessels. "Suspicious?" the commander asked. "Unclear," the scan officer replied. "But those containers aren't on any standard diplomatic manifest." The commander's eyes narrowed, noted. Back on the alien flagship, the captain decided to speak again. "Human vessel, we have come with peaceful intentions. We request a meeting between our leaders. We bring no harm." Silence. He tried again. "We are willing to submit to scans, to provide proof of our mission. All we ask is a voice cut." Through his words, the human voice. Calm, flat, but with a weight that silenced the entire bridge. "You have shown your symbol of peace. We acknowledge it. But symbols do not erase history, and history tells us to be cautious." The alien captain frowned. "History between our peoples is limited. We have no record of hostility." "Perhaps not with your people directly," the human voice replied. "But with those you trade with, those you shelter, those you call allies." The captain's pulse quickened. The words carried an accusation, one that could ruin this mission if true. The humans continued, "You will hold your position. You will answer our questions. Any movement without clearance will be treated as hostile." The alien crew shifted uncomfortably. It expected warmth, curiosity, maybe even celebration. Instead, they were being treated like criminals at the edge of a guarded fortress in the rear ships of the fleet.
Ow.
Nervous whispers began. Some officers wanted to turn back. Others argued they should force the meeting. The envoy leader knew neither. The option was safe. Not with that ship in front of them. Inside the human battleship, the commander tapped a console. A low pulse spread through space, a coded signal, visible to the aliens but picked up by hidden satellites in Earth's orbit. In minutes, other defense assets would be aware of the situation. Still, he did not give the order to attack. Yet, the alien captain decided to act. "Bring us forward," he said to his helm officer. "Slowly. We will show we mean no harm." Engines thrummed as the flagship inched closer to the massive human vessel. The battleship didn't move, but the alien sensors lit with warnings. Multiple weapon locks. The humans were tracking every ship, every engine, every heat signature. A warning tone rang on the alien bridge. "Captain," the tactical officer said urgently, "they've armed their forward batteries." The captain clenched his jaw. "Hold. Speed. Do not arm weapons." The human ship's voice came again, now with a sharper edge. "Your advance is not authorized. Stop." Now for a moment, the captain considered ignoring it. But the way that massive ship hung in the void, steady, cold, and utterly confident, made him think twice. "Helm," he said quietly. "Halt. Engines." The alien fleet came to a stop. The flag of peace still shimmered between them, but it felt useless now, like a candle in a storm then. Without warning, the human battleship's side panels shifted. Massive launcher ports opened, each one revealing missile tubes large enough to hold weapons no alien in the fleet had ever seen. The display was deliberate. It was theater, and the aliens were the audience. "This," the human voice said, "is your second and final warning. Your mission will proceed only under our terms. Refuse, and you will not leave this system intact." The alien captain's throat went dry. He knew this was no empty threat. The demonstration with the asteroid had already proven it. His advisor spoke in a hushed tone. "We must decide now. Push forward, and we risk war. Pull back, and the council will call us cowards." The captain looked again at the massive human vessel. It was not just a ship. It was a message, and that message was clear. Earth did not trust easily. The flag of easily shimmered once more between the two fleets. But for the first time in centuries, the captain began to wonder if peace itself was even possible here. Somewhere. Deep inside the battleship, the human commander turned to his crew. "They came expecting peace," he said quietly.
Ow.
"Let's see how much they truly want it." Outside, the two fleets hung in silence, one side hoping for trust, the other testing every word, and somewhere far beyond both, a much darker presence was watching. The void between the fleets was frozen. No one moved. No one spoke. The flag of peace still shimmered in space, but now it felt like an empty promise. The alien crew could almost feel the weight of the human battleship's gaze, even though its dark windows revealed nothing. Then, without warning, the humans acted. A deep hum rolled through the void. The alien fleet's sensors flared red as the Titan-class battleship powered its main cannon again. Energy levels spiked higher than before, so high that the alien tactical officer whispered, "Captain, if that hits us, there will be nothing left." The captain's hands tightened on the armrests of his chair. "Hold position," he said quietly, though his voice felt like it belonged to someone else. Inside the human ship, the commander stood, calmly as his crew worked. "Target acquired," the weapons officer reported. "Not the fleet," the commander replied. The rock. At the far edge of the engagement zone, a small asteroid drifted silently through space. It was harmless, nothing more than a chunk of frozen stone and metal. But to the humans, it was a perfect demonstration piece. Fire. The cannon's blast was blinding. A line of blue-white energy shot across the black sky, striking the asteroid dead center. The rock didn't just crack, it vaporized, exploding into a cloud of glowing fragments. In seconds, what had existed for millions of years was gone. The alien crews stared, silent. The message was clear. That shot could have been aimed at any of their ships. On the alien flagship, some officers whispered in fear. Others glared in anger. The captain kept his eyes locked on the human ship. "They want us to know they can destroy us whenever they choose," he said. "They can," his advisor replied. "They know we know it." The human voice returned, calm and cold. "You have entered restricted space without prior clearance. You will comply with our protocols, or you will leave. There will be no second demonstration." The alien captain drew a long breath. "We come in peace. We have no hidden agenda." "That," the human voice replied, "is yet to be proven." On the human battleship, the commander turned to his second-in-command. "They'll try to convince us they're harmless. But something about that fleet doesn't add up. You think they're lying? Think they're not telling the full truth?" the commander said. "And half-truths get people killed." Back on the alien flagship, tension was building. Some of the smaller ships in the Envoy's fleet sent private messages to the captain, urging him to break formation and move out of firing range. Others wanted to push forward, to prove they were not afraid. But the captain knew one thing. Any sudden movement could trigger a real attack. The humans didn't bluff. Everything about this encounter screamed that they would follow through on any threat. Then, a new alarm sounded on the alien bridge. "Captain?" The sensor officer called out, detecting multiple warp signatures. The captain's eyes widened. "More human ships?" "Yes, small ones. Fast." In the distance, dark shapes began to flicker into existence. Sleek, dagger-like vessels, each one only a fraction of the battleship's size, but bristling with weapons. They moved like predators, fanning out to surround the alien fleet. The alien crew exchanged nervous glances. What had begun as a peaceful approach had turned into a cage. One of the smaller alien ships sent a frantic message to the flagship. "We are boxed in. They've cut off all escape routes." The captain forced himself to stay calm. "Maintain position. Do not engage." A moment later, the human voice returned. But now it came from the massive battleship and was echoed by the smaller ships. "Your fleet is now under escort. Any attempt to leave will be met with force. You will prepare for inspection." The alien captain felt his stomach tighten. "Inspection? This is outrageous. We are diplomats, not smugglers. Then you have nothing to hide, the human voice replied. Inside the human battleship, the crew was already preparing boarding teams. But the commander wasn't in a rush. He wanted the aliens to feel the pressure, to understand that the humans controlled the pace of everything that would happen next. In the alien fleet, whispers turned into arguments. Some crew members were furious. They had never been treated this way on a diplomatic mission. Others were terrified, convinced they were seconds away from destruction. The captain stood and raised his voice. Enough. We will cooperate. But the council will hear of this insult. Captain, the advisor warned softly, be careful. Every word is being recorded. The captain knew he was right. The humans were likely tracking every sound, every movement. One wrong sentence could seal their fate. Then something strange happened. The alien sensors picked up a faint, faraway signal, something massive moving in deep space. It wasn't human, and it wasn't part of their fleet. The tactical officer stared at the readings. Captain, I don't understand. The signature is huge, larger than the human battleship. Distance, the captain asked. 2 hours at current speed, but it's moving directly toward us. On the human battleship, the same readings lit up their monitors. The commander's expression hardened. So that's why they're here. His second-in-command frowned. You think they were leading it here? I think they know exactly what it is, the commander said, and they didn't warn us. The alien captain watched as the massive human ship adjusted its position slightly, turning one of its side batteries toward the far-off signal. It wasn't aimed at the alien fleet anymore, and in that moment, he realized something chilling. Whatever was coming might be worse than. The human voice came again, sharper this time. Envoy fleet. Stay where you are. This conversation is not over. But first, we deal with what's following you. The alien captain's blood ran cold. He hadn't told them anyone was following. The alien captain sat frozen in his chair. He had not mentioned anything about being followed. He had not sent any signal, yet the humans knew. On the flagship's bridge, the crew looked at each other nervously. The captain could almost hear their thoughts. How much do these humans already know?
Outside, a human battleship began to shift.
It moved with slow, deliberate power,
Sliding sideways in the void until its massive hull blocked the alien fleet from the direction of the incoming signal. The smaller human ships adjusted too, forming a wide net inside the human command deck. The commander's voice was calm, but his orders were sharp. Activate Ghost Protocol. At once, the lighting on the bridge dimmed to deep red. Across the ship, systems changed mode, communications encrypted, weapons primed, shields at maximum. The hull's armor plates slid into place with a low metallic rumble. It was like the ship had put on a second, darker skin. One by one, the smaller human escort ships began to disappear from visible sensors. They didn't vanish, they cloaked. To the alien fleet, they simply faded into the background of space. Like shadows melting into darkness, on the alien flagship, the tactical officer's voice cracked. Captain, they're gone. The small ships. All of them. They're not gone, the captain said quietly. They're hiding. The alien crew grew restless. They didn't like not knowing where the escorts were. Felt like standing in a forest, hearing predators move but never seeing them. The human commander leaned toward his communications officer, send the blind beacon. A short, sharp pulse went out, invisible to normal scanners, but designed to trigger dormant satellites in the region. Somewhere far above, hidden defense stations powered up, their massive weapons pivoting silently toward the alien fleet and the far-off intruder. The commander didn't announce any of this, simply watched the distant signal grow stronger on his screen. It was coming fast. On the alien flagship, the captain's advisor spoke in a low voice. We could have warned them about this. Maybe then they'd treat us with more trust. The captain's reply was bitter. If we told them the truth, they'd never let us near Earth again. In the human battleship, the incoming signal finally resolved into an image. The projection showed a massive ship, but not like any the aliens used. Its hull was blackened, pitted, almost scarred. It moved without running lights, silent and heavy, and it was huge. Twice the length of the human battleship. The commander narrowed his eyes. Not alien envoy tech. Something else. The science officer checked readings. Its engine output. Commander, it's using older human drive patterns. The bridge went still? You're saying it's ours? The second in command asked. The science officer hesitated. It's human-built. Yes. But modified. And heavily armed. The commander's voice dropped to a dangerous calm. Then it's not. Just following them. It's hunting. The alien captain finally spoke to the humans again. We can explain. Save it. The human voice cut in, colder than before. Your explanation will wait. Right now, you're staying right where you are. Outside, the dark ship drew closer, its shadow stretching across the stars, and then, without warning, every human escort ship reappeared at once, surrounding the alien fleet in a perfect circle. They hadn't just been hiding. They'd been moving into attack positions the entire time. The alien crews panicked. Weapons officers begged for permission to raise shields, but the captain refused. No, any movement could trigger them. The humans were ready for whatever was coming. Inside the battleship, the commander gave the next order. Lock GhostNet. Instantly, a grid of faint blue light began to form between the hidden satellites, the escort ships, and the battleship itself. To the alien fleet, it looked like glowing lines flickering into existence around them. To the human crew, it was a trap, one that nothing could enter or leave without permission. The incoming dark ship slowed, was close enough now for every detail to be visible. The alien. Captain recognized the markings along its hull, not from his people, but from the files his intelligence officers had shared in secret. This was not just a rogue ship. It was something far worse. On the human bridge, the commander finally stood. His voice was quiet, but filled with authority. Open channel to the intruder. The communications officer nodded. Channel open. The commander spoke. Unidentified vessel. You are entering a restricted defense perimeter. You will power down engines immediately, or you will be fired upon. There was no answer. The dark ship kept moving. Final warning, the commander said. Shut down your drive. Still no. Response. The second in command looked at him, sir. Orders. The commander's eyes never left the black ship. Stand by to fire. On the alien flagship, the captain's pulse raced. Whatever the humans were about to do, he was certain he didn't want his fleet caught in it. And then, the dark ship lit its weapons. The first flash came without sound. One moment, the dark ship was just drifting forward, its scarred hull gliding through space like a predator. The next, a streak of crimson energy tore through the blackness, aimed straight at the human battleship. The shot never reached, in a blur. The Titan's forward shield flared bright blue, the impact rippling across its surface like a stone hitting water. The ship didn't even shudder. The attack had been powerful enough to destroy most vessels, but against the Titan class, it was just a warning tap. The human commander's expression didn't change. Return fire. The order unleashed hell. From the Titan's side batteries, a storm of plasma lances streaked toward the dark ship. Each one burned brighter than the sun, and when they hit, chunks of armored plating were ripped away in bursts of molten metal. The alien fleet watched in silence. It was like seeing a god swat down an insect, but the insect refused to die. The dark ship rolled hard to the side, engines flaring white, and released a spread of missile pods. The missiles screamed through the void, each one splitting into multiple warheads mid-flight. They were fast. Intercept, the commander ordered. The cloaked escort ships reappeared once again, moving like wolves between the missiles and their prey. Their point defense guns lit the sky with thin lines of fire, each one destroying a warhead in a small controlled explosion. Not a single missile made it through. On the alien flagship, the captain's crew couldn't look away. One of his younger officers whispered, How? How are they doing that? The captain didn't answer. He knew the truth. This was not just raw firepower. This was coordination, the kind of discipline that only comes from generations of hard, bloody war. The humans weren't just defending, they were hunting. The dark ship seemed to realize it too. It changed tactics, cutting its speed and swinging its nose toward the alien fleet. On the human bridge, the commander's voice snapped like a whip. It's targeting them. Move to block. The Titan turned with terrifying precision, sliding. Between the dark ship and the alien formation, its broadside cannons rotated into position, and for a brief moment, both massive vessels faced each other head-on. The dark ship made its choice. It fired everything. Space lit up like a storm. Energy beams, kinetic slugs, plasma bolts, the barrage was endless. The Titan's shields glowed under the onslaught, each hit making the air inside vibrate faintly. Still, the ship didn't break. "Main cannon," the commander ordered. The weapons officer's hands flew across the controls. The forward cannon powered up again, its charging core filling the bridge with a low, menacing hum on the alien flagship. The captain could feel it. The moment before something irreversible happened, the main cannon fired. A blinding column of blue-white energy tore through the void, striking the dark ship square in the center. The impact wasn't an explosion, it was annihilation. The beam carved through hull and reactor alike, slicing the massive vessel in two. Both halves spun away slowly, leaking glowing debris into space. The alien crew stared, almost forgetting to breathe. The human commander's voice was cold. Target eliminated, but it wasn't over. The science officer frowned at the readings. "Sir, the dark ship's wreckage is transmitting." "To where?" the commander asked. "Unknown. But the signal is powerful. Long range." The commander's jaw tightened. They weren't here alone. Back on the alien flagship, the captain finally spoke up, his voice heavy. "Commander, you must listen to me. That was only the scout."
Ow.
Human bridge went still. "Explain," the commander said. The alien captain took a deep breath. "Your ship is strong, yes? But what's coming next is not something you can destroy so easily. This was a test. And now they know exactly what you can do." The commander didn't respond right away. His eyes stayed on the wreckage. Drifting in space. Somewhere deep inside, he already knew the alien was telling the truth. And then, the long-range scanners detected something new. Far beyond the system's edge, dozens, maybe hundreds of faint signals began to appear. They were coming. The readings were getting worse by the second. On the Titan's long-range scanners, the faint dots began to multiply. 1 dozen, 2 dozen, 50, then too many to count. They moved in formation, K, perfect wall of ships pushing toward the system. The commander studied the display without speaking. His bridge crew worked in silence, waiting for his orders. "They're still hours away," the science officer finally said. "But their speed is increasing. If they maintain course, they'll be here in less than 30 minutes. The alien captain on the other end of the channel shifted uneasily. "That's impossible. They shouldn't be able to cross that much distance so fast." The commander didn't even glance at him. "Prepare a defensive grid." At once, the Titan's crew came alive. Engineers sealed bulkheads and reinforced armor plating. Weapons teams ran final checks on every cannon, missile tube, and railgun. On the hull, automated drones scurried across the armor like insects. Welding and repositioning shield emitters for maximum coverage, the escort ships moved out in precise arcs, forming layers of defense between the Titan and the system's edge. Each layer was calculated so that anything coming through would face overlapping fields of fire, a death corridor in space. But the humans weren't stopping there. "Deploy mines," the commander ordered. Cargo bays opened along the escort, ships releasing hundreds of small, dark spheres. The spheres drifted outward, almost invisible in the void. Each one contained enough explosive force to tear a cruiser in half, and they could think. The alien fleet's sensors tracked the swarm. "Those are autonomous." One of the alien officers asked nervously. "They're hunters," the human tactical officer replied flatly. "They decide for themselves how to kill you." The alien bridge fell silent. The commander studied the formation again. The incoming fleet was large, but still too far for accurate detail. "Increase scan." "Power," he said. A clearer picture formed, sleek black ships, each with the same scarred armor as the one they had just destroyed. And behind them, something bigger. It moved slower, but its size dwarfed even the Titan. The alien captain swallowed hard. "That is their flagship," We call it the Harbinger. It does not travel without purpose. When it arrives, planets fall. Commander finally turned toward him. Then it will not arrive here. He tapped a control, and the view shifted to a tactical overlay. The defensive grid was almost complete. The humans called it the siege line, a trap designed to shred any attacker before they could reach Earth. But there was a problem. They'll see it. The moment they get close enough, they'll spot the grid and change formation. The commander nodded once, which is why we won't let them get close enough. He pointed to the mining fields. We'll force them into the net before they realize it's there. Escorts, be ready to feint. Draw them in. The alien flagship, the captain's crew exchanged uneasy looks. This was not how their people fought. They met enemies face to face in open battle. But the humans, they fought like predators. They shaped the battlefield before the prey even knew they were being hunted. The incoming fleet grew closer. On the scanners, they looked like a dark wave swallowing the stars. Suddenly, a sharp tone echoed across the Titan's bridge. They've locked scanning beams on us, the tactical officer reported. The commander's voice was calm. Good. Let them see. The Titan angled its massive hull forward. Every cannon, every battery, every glowing strip of shield energy lit and ready. The message was clear. This was not prey. The alien captain watched from his own bridge, feeling something strange in his chest. Fear, yes, but also something else. Respect. The dark fleet did not slow. They're entering outer mine range. A human officer said. The commander gave the order without looking away from the display. Activate. Their black shells shifted, revealing small thrusters and targeting sensors. Like a school. A fish suddenly sensing blood, they turned as one and accelerated toward the dark fleet. The enemy responded instantly, opening fire. Explosions lit the void as mines were destroyed, but not all of them. The survivors moved faster, weaving between shots, closing in. When the first detonated, the shockwave tore 3 enemy ships apart. More followed. In seconds, the front line of the dark fleet was shredded, leaving gaps in their formation, and just as planned. Those gaps drove them straight toward the siege line. They're taking the bait, the tactical officer said. Commander's voice was low. Hold fire until they cross the line. The alien captain leaned forward, realizing what was about to happen. You're going to trap all of them at once. The commander didn't answer. He didn't need to. The dark fleet poured forward, trying to close the distance before losing. More ships to the mines. Their smaller craft darted ahead, and that's when they crossed it. Fire, commander ordered. The siege line lit up from every escort. Every satellite, every hidden battery, streams of plasma, rail slugs, and missile barrages converged on the enemy at once. Ships exploded in brilliant flashes. Debris spun away in every direction. The alien fleet had never seen destruction like this precise, controlled, merciless. But even as ship after ship fell, the massive Harbinger continued its slow approach, untouched by the chaos around it. The commander's eyes narrowed. They're sacrificing their own to protect it. And then, for the first time, the Harbinger's weapons began to glow. The glow from the Harbinger was unlike anything the humans had seen before. It started as a faint red pulse deep inside the ship's massive frame, then grew brighter, spreading along its hull like veins of fire. The energy built steadily, feeding into colossal weapon banks hidden beneath layers of black armor. On the Titan's bridge, warning tones filled the air. Energy spike detected, the science officer called. Out, sir. It's charging something huge. How huge? The commander asked. Enough to break through our shields in one hit? No one moved for a moment. The Harbinger kept coming, slow and deliberate, like it knew nothing could stop it. Around it, the remnants of the smaller enemy ships fought, with a kind of hopeless fury, buying time for their flagship to prepare. The alien captain's voice comes low and grim. You must understand this is their godship. It does not fire to wound. When it strikes, something dies. The commander's jaw tightened. Then we make sure it dies first. He ordered all fire, focused on the Harbinger, the siege line. Shifted, redirecting torrents of plasma and rail slugs toward the massive ship. Dozens of impacts lit its armor, but most simply burned away harmlessly against its shields. It was like throwing stones at a fortress wall. Minimal effect. The tactical officer reported. The commander's eyes narrowed. Then we go to Plan Black. Every officer on the bridge froze. Plan Black was the last card, a maneuver so dangerous that using it meant accepting casualties. Activate, the commander said. The Titan's escorts moved instantly, breaking formation and darting. And toward the Harbinger. They fired everything they had, drawing the godship's attention, forcing it to split its aim. Meanwhile, the Titan shifted power from its rear shields to its forward cannons. The main gun began to hum, but this time, the sound was deeper, angrier. On the alien flagship, the captain watched in awe. They're going to trade blows with it. Head on. The Harbinger's glow reached its peak. The red light was so bright now it cast shadows even across the alien fleet. Impact in 5 seconds. The science officer shouted, "Main cannon." "Ready?" the weapons officer confirmed. The commander didn't blink. Fire. The Titan's forward gun unleashed its beam, a blinding column of blue-white. Energy that tore across the void toward the Harbinger. At the exact same moment, the Harbinger fired. Its weapon wasn't a beam. It was a sphere of compressed energy, pulsing with unstable power. When it left the godship's barrel, it looked almost slow, until it crossed the distance in a heartbeat. The two attacks met in the center. The collision was silent for an instant, then space itself seemed to ripple. The blast that followed was unlike anything seen before. Light washed across the battlefield, blinding every sensor. Ship's friend and foe were thrown off course by the shockwave. Smaller vessels were ripped apart instantly. The Titan groaned as its armor plate screamed under the force. The Harbinger staggered, its shields flaring wildly. Sections of its hull glowing from the heat. When the light faded, both ships were still standing. Shields at 60%, the tactical officer reported. Forward batteries damaged, but operational. Across the void, the Harbinger was wounded. Large chunks of its outer armor were gone, exposing a maze of glowing machinery beneath. But its core still pulsed, and it was charging again. "They can fire faster than we can," the commander said quietly. The alien captain broke in urgently. "Commander, you cannot win by matching it shot for shot. You must cut out its heart." The commander turned to him sharply. "Location." The alien captain sent the data instantly, a section deep within the Harbinger's lower hull. Barely shielded, but surrounded by heavy armor, the commander's decision came fast. "All escorts breach run. Get me a hole to the core." Escorts moved without hesitation. They streaked toward the Harbinger in tight formation, weaving through its defensive fire. One by one, they fell, ripped apart by beams and missiles. But each death brought the survivors closer. On the Titan. The commander watched the hole forming in the Harbinger's defenses. "Lock forward guns. Prepare overcharge." The weapons. Officer hesitated. "Sir, overcharge will burn the barrels out. You won't need them after this," the commander said. The Harbinger's weapon reached full charge. Its massive cannon turned, aiming directly at the Titan. The escorts had done their job, but not all had returned. "Fire," the commander ordered. The overcharged beam erupted from the Titan's main cannon, brighter and hotter than anything it had fired before. It tore through the opening in the Harbinger's armor, driving straight into the core coordinates. For one heartbeat, nothing happened. Then the Harbinger screamed. Its hull twisted, massive plates buckling outward as fire, and light exploded from within. The red glow vanished, replaced by a chaotic storm of detonations racing along its frame. The alien fleets. The human ships, everyone watched as the god ship began to fall apart. And then, impossibly, a final burst of energy tore free from the Harbinger's dying core, racing outward like a shockwave of fire. "Brace," the commander shouted. The wave hit. The Titan's shields flared, holding barely. Smaller ships weren't so lucky. The alien flagship rocked violently, alarms blaring. When the light faded again, the Harbinger was gone, nothing left but drifting debris. The alien captain's voice was quiet. "You have done what no one has ever done before." But the commander didn't relax. His eyes stayed on the scanners, because in the silence that followed, another signal appeared, and it was bigger than the Harbinger. The silence after the Harbinger's death was heavy, almost unreal. Wreckage drifted slowly through the void, glowing faintly from residual heat. Fires burned themselves out in the cold of space. The siege line, battered and scarred, held position. No one spoke. Then the signal came. It was faint at first, a strange rhythmic pulse, too regular to be natural. The Titan's scanners locked onto it, and the image appeared on the main screen. Everyone froze. It wasn't a ship, not exactly. It was bigger, a shape so vast it blotted out stars as it moved. Its outline was impossible to take in fully. Angles and curves that seemed wrong to the eye, like they didn't belong in this universe. The science officer's voice was almost a whisper. "That's not in our database. That's not in anyone's database." The alien captain stared, his face pale. "That is not their godship. That is their master." The commander didn't look away from the screen. "Explain." "They build ships like the Harbinger," the alien captain said slowly, "to fight for them, to conquer for them. But this is the thing they serve. It is older than our civilizations combined. We have legends about it, but they're only meant to scare children." The massive shape continued its slow approach. It was so large. The scanners struggled to calculate its size. It's a best guess at least 10 times the length of the Harbinger. And then, without warning, it spoke. The voice wasn't sound. It was inside their minds. "Deep, cold, endless. You have destroyed my servant. This is not permitted." The bridge crew flinched. Some clutched their heads. Even the alien captain was trembling. The commander kept his voice level. "We defend our worlds. We don't ask permission." There was a pause. Then the voice returned, darker now. "Then you will cease to exist." In the distance, massive panels on the thing's surface shifted, revealing rows of what looked like weapons, each the size of an entire human battleship. The commander turned. To his crew, "All power to forward shields. Evacuate civilian ships. Prepare warp for anyone who can escape." The alien captain looked at him in disbelief. "You cannot fight this. You must flee." The commander shook his head. "If we run, it follows. If we fight here, maybe we slow it down." The alien captain didn't answer. Deep down he knew the human was right, but it felt like standing on the shore, facing a tidal wave. The first shot came from the giant. It wasn't light or plasma. It was a beam of pure gravitational force. When it hit an escort ship, the vessel simply imploded into nothing, crushed into a single point before vanishing. "Return fire," the commander shouted. The Titan unleashed everything: main cannons, missiles, rail slugs, even the last of its hunter mines. The alien flagship joined in, firing weapons that had been dormant for centuries. The void lit up with a storm of destruction. But when the light cleared, the thing kept coming. Its hull didn't even glow from the impacts. "We're not scratching it," the tactical officer said grimly. The science officer spoke up suddenly. "Sir, the energy readings, they're not infinite. The weapons draw from a central core. If we could overload it. Location." The officer hesitated. "Deep inside, the only way to reach it is from within." The commander didn't blink. "Then we go inside." The alien captain stared at him. "That's suicide." The commander's voice was calm, almost cold. "Everything worth doing usually is." He sent orders to the remaining escorts, 3 human ships and 2 alien cruisers. The plan was simple. Punch a hole in the giant's outer hull, send a small strike team inside, and destroy the core. The Titan led the charge. As the giant fired again, 2 escorts sacrificed themselves. Taking the hits so the Titan could get close enough to launch, the strike pod shot forward, tiny compared to the monster they faced. They slammed into the hull, cutting their way inside. Inside the giant, It was like nothing anyone had seen. The corridors weren't built, they were grown, made of some strange living metal that pulsed faintly with light. And the air. There was air, but it tasted wrong. The strike team moved fast, guided by the science officer's readings. The deeper they went, the louder a low hum became until they reached at the core. It was a vast sphere, suspended in a web of glowing strands. Energy arced across its surface in patterns too complex to follow. The team planted charges. As they worked, the voice returned, shaking their minds. "You cannot harm me. You are small. You are nothing." The commander's voice came over comes. "Then maybe nothing is exactly what you never see coming." The charges detonated. Core flared. Not an explosion, but a collapse. The energy feeding the giant's weapons blinked out. The entire massive shape shuddered, its surface breaking. Apart in slow motion, back on the Titan, the scanners went wild. "It's losing structural integrity." The alien captain stared as the impossible happened. The thing broke apart, huge sections drifting away, its light fading, and then it was gone. Not destroyed, not vaporized, just gone. The commander stood on the bridge, watching the empty space where it had been. "We bought time," he said quietly. The alien captain turned to him. "Time for what?" The commander's eyes were cold. "It's time to prepare for when it comes back," no one argued. Because they all knew something that big, that old, didn't die so easily. And next time, it wouldn't be alone.